I'm sleeping with 100 guys in a day.
Have you done anything to make sure there's not someone with a criminal record, for example, coming down?
We actually have not now.
This is where the applications are coming through.
Where the guys are messaging.
Yes, weird little thing. I never really think about things before I do them, so I've just kind of do them and then think, oh, you know, was that okay?
How long have you known or been a fan of Lily Phillips?
Since the beginning, I would say.
Did you ever think you'd be able to have...
No, never.
And today you did?
Yes.
You know how many guys have gone before you?
Nobody.
Yeah, like cut by that.
Oh, no. Yeah, well, oh, no. You know, I was full.
Are you happy you did it?
Oh, yeah, I'm just, the rubbish I need for him to find out. I'll dog it to me, I'll swear it ain't.
Really?
Yeah.
When was the last time you ate?
I think I had a yum yum, and I think I had a sandwich, and that was kind of, and then the rest. It's not for the weak, girls. If I'm honest, it was hard. I don't know if I'd recommend it.
Why not?
I think if you're a different type of girl, it's very like, it's kind of like being a pro in a sense of like, it's just a different feeling. I don't know how to explain it. Like,
It's not like just having sex with someone.
yeah. Just one in, one out. Like, it feels intense.
Like more intense than you thought it might.
Definitely.
Sorry. Okay. Just take
Yeah, 1 minute. I think sometimes like feeling so like robotic, like by I think like the 30th, you know, like when we're getting on a bit, I've got like a routine of like how we're going to do this. And like, it just, sometimes you'd like disassociate and be like, you know, like it's not like normal things at all. In my head right now, I can think of like 5, 6 guys, 10 guys that I remember. And that's it. But it's just, I don't know, it's just weird, isn't it? Like, if I didn't have the videos, I wouldn't have known I've done 100, you know? But yeah. I think that was kind of the hard part, is like conversing with them and like when they'd kind of be like, oh, like we've only had 2 minutes or 3 minutes and you said 5 on the message.
Did someone say that to you?
Yeah. And obviously it just makes me feel so bad.
Do you think you should feel bad about that?
I guess when you've promised something to people who support you, it's kind of hard to let them down.
But it's up to you, right? Like when you know.
Yeah.
Have you even processed, do you think, what's happened?
Not yet. God, I won't forget this day, Jesus.
When I decided to start making this documentary, I wasn't too sure of what to expect. I certainly didn't expect to see Lily so upset at the end of it all.
Now, every now and then there's a story that shocks you to your core, where it's so unbelievable that you're like, there's no way. There's just no way. This is unfortunately one of the stories of this young OF star, Lily Phillips, went on to sleep with 100 men in one day. Not in her lifetime, in one day. I do want to preface this video by stating I am not shaming her. I am not judging her. I'm going to try to be objective and look at this through a different lens, because originally this video was supposed to be about the type of woman that men respect. And this is what this video is going to be about. So later on, we're going to get to what this video is really supposed to be about. Okay. I already recorded this topic, the type of woman that men respect and the type of men that women respect. I already recorded this like 2 weeks ago. Okay. It's because I recorded a lot of my videos in advance, and I just happened to find out about this story this week because it dropped this week. And I was like, okay, this goes along. This will tie in perfectly with the title, because one of the things that I noticed on Twitter is that this young lady, after looking sad or down, you know, from the realization of what just happened and what she just allowed, she's now promoting or auditioning men to like break a record of 1,000 men in one day. I don't even know how that can be logistically possible. Given, like, people are doing the math on Twitter, like, okay, so she would have no eating break, no water break, no break at all, just like nonstop. And, you know, people would have a couple seconds each. Like, what, logistically, I can't. But a lot of people was feeling bad for her after seeing, you know, the tears and everything, just for her to now go into the 1,000. And as I went down the rabbit hole, I saw that she was talking about her parents, and she said she don't really talk to her parents about what she does, and she'd rather them not ask questions, although her parents know what she does. And she looks like it's just something she doesn't even want to think about. And she's obviously a young girl, and we've done countless videos on this channel, especially with the trophy wife recently, the one that married a monster, where I spoke very clearly to women. I will pin that in the comments for you guys, where I spoke very clearly to women about what we need to do in this day and age. It's a message to women because these are perilous times. And you guys, did I lie? Did I lie? Is this not perilous times? Look at the story that you're just witnessing right now. These are perilous times to have daughters. These are perilous times to be a woman, because where it goes is a lot of men were on her accounts, Twitter. A lot of men pay for her services. A lot of men showed up. A lot of people want to talk about her doing this, but you guys are disregarding the men that showed up to do this. And you know what struck me as interesting is that the men wanted to have their identity remain anonymous. They did not want to be seen. It's as if they felt shame for doing this. Oh my goodness. And then there was even a couple of them that were clearly living with their parents still, which there's nothing wrong with the way, you know, the economy is, but they sounded young. They sounded like, oh, I don't want my parents to find out this and that, like probably 18, 19. I'm not saying they're younger than that, but she's obviously older. And there's just was so much wrong with this, but nobody's considering the men that lined up for it, the men. And even for the 1,000, that she's doing, all she asks is for the men to come with an ID, like to send in their applications with a photo of themselves with them holding their ID to their face. There's no send in your blood work. There's no, once you are approved and you come here, here's the next step. We're going to do blood work to make sure that there's none of this, none of that, whatever. I did 2 videos, one on soul ties, how to know you have soul ties, what is soul ties, the psychological, physiological, scientifical, that's not even a word, but the scientific backing of soul tie being real. I didn't even go the biblical route because I'm like, hey, there's a lot of people that don't believe in God or the Bible, but I want y'all to know just how real soul ties is. I did that, which I'll pin in the comments also. And I did a video on how to break a soul tie. So that was part 2 to the soul tie video, once you recognize that you have soul tie. So everyone you sleep with, whether they have protection on them or not, whether they're wearing protection or not, you're still attaching a soul tie to you. We talked about babies and skin-to-skin contact. While when the baby is first born, they put them on your skin because the glands, our sweat glands, transmit information to other people. When we shake hands, when we hold someone, when we perspire, when we kiss, their sweat is falling on you. Like, all of these things are exchanged, and it's a lot worse for women. These things are real. So it's unfathomable to imagine 100 soul ties, 100 different personalities inside of you. And then the nonchalance of it, I believe, is a symbol of trauma and a symbol of probably just lack of developmental, like her brain hasn't fully developed yet to understand the severity of what she's doing, because we've seen a lot of these women. We talked about Mia Khalifa, who came out and spoke about all her regrets, but in the time when she was doing it, she was just as proud. A lot of these women do start off very proud and feel like that's what they want to do. I also did a video on the spirit of like sensual spirits that attack people, that make some things seem very okay. I'll pin that in the comments also. I can understand how someone can go down that road. It's easy to understand how someone can go down that road. And it's easy to judge if you were really sheltered, wasn't exposed to intimate images early, or wasn't touched at an early age, or wasn't, you know, there's certain experiences you were blessed with not having to deal with. It may be difficult to understand, well, how did we get here? But I can understand. I can understand how a young woman could get to the point where 100 and 1,000. There's also other stars that did this before. This is not a new concept. There's a star, I believe her name is Houston, and she did 500 men. And one day, that was way back in the days, like she's much older now, but she left the industry. She tries to have a private life. She is very remorseful of that life. And for her children now, like, but at the time, you know,
wanted to be as fast as I could in the adult industry.
I see. So you said, hey, let me do some wild,
Right.
and then when I go out and strip, I'll get a lot of money.
Right.
Right. So it's a money proposition for you.
No, it's not about the money.
No?
No.
Well, it is. I mean, you like getting paid, right?
Way to make it.
You do love, and
I
you
love
sex. You really love the idea of having 500 greasy guys from the street?
Yeah, pretty much. It's
You
like
do?
it's a challenge.
It is.
Yeah.
And you will perform oral as well as intercourse, right?
Yes, I will.
You will.
and it was all filmed, and it was 500 in the same day, just taking turns, like 30 seconds each. And, you know, these women do end up having a lot of mental issues later on in life. And Netflix have documentary on life after Corn ends, where it documents why a lot of stars in the entertainment industry that deals with adults, how they end up taking their own lives later on and end up in substances. And there's rarely any rehabilitation for them. It's rare. It's rare that some will survive. I believe another one was Shirley Lubin. Forgive me, I'll put the name on screen if I'm forgetting it. But she even got out, went and started preaching to people, you know, doing missionary work, speaking to young girls to not get into that life. But unfortunately, it all came still crashing down for her, and she passed away on an overdose. So it's extremely difficult to get out. Even when some of them do put their foot out there, their self-worth, they have to bring all the way back up.
As soon as the camera started rolling, it's like Satan came to me and says, it's almost like I could see the devil say, see, Shelley, everyone will love you now. I'll make you famous.
Shelley Lubin even won an award for Best New Rising Star, but her claim to fame came with a high price.
It was destroying me. I lost my femininity. I lost any piece of Shelley on the... I loved God so much. He used to talk to me all the time when I was little. I used to write poetry about him. I used to walk around and preach the gospel to anyone who would listen.
As a child, Shelley gave her heart to Jesus Christ and hoped to become a preacher and a writer. Shelley's view of love crumbled the day her innocence was stolen.
When I was 9 years old, I was violated by a teenage boy and his sister, which was my classmate. And I think carrying that around as a child, you don't know what to do with that emotionally. I was curious about, and it made me feel love, but at the same time, it felt dirty. So I just struggled with so much. So by the time I was a teenager, I just acted out.
By the time she turned 18, her parents had had enough. She was on her own and desperate for cash.
A nice man walked over to me, and then he put his arm around me. He says, you know, there's a man in the apartment complex who thinks you're real pretty, and he wants to make love with you, and you can make $35. I went, oh, I was horrified. I mean, I'd had intercourse before, but I had never myself. But then a part of me was like, you know what? I have no food. My parents don't care. God doesn't care. Why not? Because you know what? I don't care about myself anymore. And so I ended up being lured into industry that way. Never lost my faith in him, but I felt like I lost my trust in him. I felt like I couldn't trust anyone, and I needed to do what I needed to do. That was how I justified it. And someone says, why don't you do... I said, and they said, yeah. I said, I never even thought about that. Do you know that they pay you like $2,000 for a movie? I said, for one movie? I said, well, how hard can it be? It's probably just like, it's legal, and I wouldn't go to jail. So that really appealed to me.
But what Shelley didn't know is the price she would have to pay as a...
Right when I walked in, it's like this satanic, dark anointing just fell on me. It was creepy, it was dark, it was eerie, it was nothing like... And it was like, I knew that I was in the devil's territory. This was like the final frontier of Satan.
Shelley went through with it, and her career took off. The fame and money became addictive. Behind the scenes, she fell apart. During her darkest moments, Shelley felt God's love reaching out to her.
He used to come in the room and go, please don't do this. He really did.
Even sensing God's spirit before she would go before the cameras.
Shelley, please don't do this. I said, well, you're not taking care of me. I'm good at this. They love me. They think I'm great. And my parents don't care. And God, you don't care. And Jesus says, I care. I bear it on the cross for you. I've already paid for all this. I'll forgive you. And I said, how can you forgive me? I've done so much.
She caught a transmitted disease and quietly left the film industry.
I met my husband, Garrett.
I was kind of at a low point in my life where I started using, and when I met Shelley, here was this person who kind of, met me where I was at, and we were we were just best buds. Talks of the Lord and Jesus when we were younger started developing into a stronger friendship and ultimately realizing that, hey, this thing is going in a whole different direction.
Together, Shelley and Garrett turned back to Jesus, and he helped them clean up their lives. God miraculously healed her incurable transmitted disease, but her emotional recovery took much longer. She struggled to learn how to be a wife and mother to her 3 girls. She searched the Bible for answers.
I really started looking at God as a father, not some meek God up in the sky with a scepter saying, follow the rules or you're in big trouble. God became a father to me. I had to forgive everybody because I blamed everybody for everything. And so God taught me about forgiveness because, see, he forgave me. How can I not? It's just part of my nature to cast down any negative thoughts.
Shelley has also forgiven herself, and she's put the past behind her for good.
It took me years to practice that because you can imagine I had a lot of thoughts that I had to cast down. Satan was like, here's a movie, here's a movie, here's a scene, here's a scene. I had to choose God's word.
Shelley shares the freedom she found in Christ with her daughters and the world.
God says to me, not 1 ounce of your pain will be wasted. I work all things together for good, Shelley. Jesus is faithful to me in everything.
And we see Mia Khalifa now in the process of doing that for herself. It's very difficult to speak to someone who's young, to try to tell them that, hey, you might have some regret later on. They don't see it like that. They think they're grown. I told you guys in the video message to young women in these perilous times that in high school, I had friends that were 14, 15. I had a friend that was actually 16 years old on her 3rd child with a grown man that was almost 40. He was like 36, 37. And she was on her 3rd child with him. And she really thought she was grown. She knew better. There's no advice you can give. She left her parents' home. Teachers knew. Nobody did anything. The system didn't really care. And it's real out there. But now, as she's older, I do see her advocating to younger girls to not fall into that lifestyle. But at the time, it's very difficult to see, you know what I mean? So that's why I have kind of grace with these younger people, younger generations. And I tell the older generation to share your stories because it's difficult for them to see. Now, on the topic of the type of women and men that people respect, which we're going to get into the video with this long input that I'm putting here, is I noticed that on her Twitter, there was a lot of men that were responding to people that was saying, calling this behavior out. Like, let's not glamorize this. Poor girl, this and that. Oh my goodness, I could never, you know how the comments would be. And there's men that are still like begging to lay down with her. There's men that are saying they would wife her up. They're willing to give her everything, this and that. Like it appeared like they were showing her respect. And so a lot of women are like, dang, isn't it interesting how, because I just recently did a video, probably two videos down, on why men wife fast women, and why good girls like bad boys, like they tend to marry the bad boy. And this is playing out in real life, that there's a lot of men that's willing to wife her up if she's so willing. And I just want to say that that's not always the case. In a lot of these cases, these women say they do find quote unquote love and they get married. These men later on down the line, things may look very picture perfect, but in a lot of the cases, the attraction is from the lust of wanting to lay with you. And once that wears out, to them, the beauty starts fading. They're looking for, and if they found you through looking at your intimate photos and visualizations, trust me, they're looking at others too. And while you guys are married, they'll continue to look at others. If that's how you were found, if that's how you got that ring, their eyes is elsewhere also, right? So it's not the kind of respect that you think. And I'm seeing a lot of women that were very discouraged on Twitter. Like, my goodness, what I got to do? Look at how these type of women are thriving. Look at this, look at the money and stuff like that. Should I quit my day job and go do this? Like, ladies, no. In the long run, this is not judgment, this is reality, because we got to keep it real. These times are too perilous for us to not keep it real. In the long run, this is an illusion of respect that will fade. Like, go look at enough testimonies, enough stories, enough of people that have gotten out of that lifestyle. I've done so many videos on this topic. It's insane. I should probably do a whole nother playlist. You know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a whole nother playlist just for women in this lifestyle and, you know, have all these videos. And that's what I'll pin in the comments for you guys to just check out that playlist on the soul ties and message to young women and, you know, these days, what is happening. Because I don't like what I was seeing on Twitter. I don't like what I was seeing on social media with women feeling like being respectable or wanting to be with one partner or not wanting to, you know, overshare themselves is glamorous anymore. Like they're feeling down about it. Like, look at how popular this girl is, but look at the sadness in her eyes. And then she played it off like, you can tell the people pleasing. That's how I know she has some trauma. The people pleasing is, oh, I'm not sad because of what happened. I'm sad because, you know, I didn't get to pleasure them enough. Well, some of them I feel are disappointed. They came all the way here and they didn't get to finish. The guy that was interviewing her almost looked disappointed, like, girl, that's why you crying? That's a form of people pleasing. That's definitely trauma. That's not normal to react like that, to be like, your concern was them and not yourself. She barely ate. That's the way the guy was asking her, what did you eat? She barely ate. Her eyes was red before he even started talking to her. Not because she was crying, but because of all the stuff that was being shot in her eye from the men, if you catch my drift. And then I can imagine the tears burning. It just was not a good situation. And beyond 100 men in one day, this is the content that she does. So there were men before that, you know, these soul ties. And I can't even imagine. I'll be praying for her, and pray for people that are stuck in this kind of cycle, this lifestyle. Because I've seen a lot of testimonies of women that were working the streets for years and have bodies on them that were able to get out, have a clean life, start businesses, and have organizations to get people out. It's very possible. Don't look at people like that, like it's a lost cause. And even with 1,000, I was disappointed to see 1,000, like she's going for 1,000 to break the record. But I was like, you know what? Hey, Jesus still loves her. Jesus still died for her too. Okay. So we're just going to keep praying. But I want to shift the focus and glamorize a respectable woman. So this is what you're going to view next, is what the video I've been recorded on the type of woman that a respectable man, a man that has honor, dignity, care for himself. This is a type of woman he respects. And then this is a type of man that a respectable woman, a highly elevated woman, respects also. Let's glamorize and push that message. Make sure you thumbs up the video, leave a comment, and I'm very curious to see what you guys think. And then check out that playlist in the comments once you're done if you want to watch videos that specifically target these type of topics. All the videos that I mentioned will be in that playlist. I love you guys so much. Like, young women watching, dearly, I love you guys. I really, really do. Please take care of yourselves, love yourselves, and let's get to the video. Today's video is all about the type of woman that men respect and the type of men that women submit to. Because oftentimes people talk about the type of women, the respectable woman that everybody respects, but they don't focus on the men, about what type of men that women submit to. Because men always want submission, but they're not even worthy of that submission. Being a man alone does not make you worthy of that submission. You have to be someone worthy of that submission. We're going to talk about that all and more. But first, hey friend, welcome to my channel, Karina Lou Mental Gems. This channel is dedicated to leveling up in all areas of your life. So let us learn together, read together, but most importantly, grow together. Now, without further ado, let's get into this video. So let's start with number one. With that is, has her own hobbies, her own identity, her own money, her own goals and ambitions. Women value the same thing in men. They submit to men that have their lives together, has his own money, car, goals, ambitions, and identity. That is a leader worthy of submission. The same thing that makes a woman respectable is the same thing that makes a woman want to submit to a man. The respectable woman, even if she's a stay-at-home housewife, right? But she has her own hobbies, her own life. She's not at home waiting 24/7 for him to come home, for her life to start. Her life, she has a life regardless, right? That is the woman people respect. But if your whole purpose, your whole existence, your whole life is for that man, you won't get respect. And vice versa. Women do not respect men that make their whole entire existence for that woman. You have nothing going on for yourself. You're doing nothing. You have no ambitions, no goals, no hobbies, nothing at all. All you just, no, that's not going to make a woman submit to you. Okay. Number 2 is intelligence. On both ends, men respect an intelligent woman and plays around with a woman he thinks is dumb. Same for women. Women admire intelligence in men because it's a good sign of leadership. Women submit to leaders. An intelligent person shows that you could be a good leader. No one, I gotta go there with the Bible, but you see how Joseph, in telling the dream, the Pharaoh saw oh my goodness, this man is so smart. Who else could be in charge of storing all this food for the years of famine except the intelligent one that was able to tell the dream, right? So intelligence is a sign of leadership. No one wants, someone who's mentally incapable of formulating thoughts, leading. Can you imagine having someone lead a country that probably couldn't read or is unintelligent or something like that? No, just the same. No one wants to submit to someone who's not intelligent enough to lead a home. And no one wants anyone raising their children who's not intelligent enough to do it with wisdom, right? Intelligence and wisdom in this regards is a major key in choosing your partner, who you're going to respect and who you're going to submit to. You have to be able to show that you can be a good leader. And for women, you have to show that you can have the wisdom to be that woman of the house, to be that respectable figure, that I can trust your intelligence and wisdom to raise and birth our children, right? Number 3 is one who respects themselves and demands respect back. Believe it or not, women are more willing to submit to you if you have respect for yourself. When do you see women cursing and belittling their man? After he done proved himself to be unfaithful, unreliable, and a liar, the arguments intensify and she becomes more combative because you have proven yourself to be a man who does not respect themselves. Therefore, you cannot be a good leader. Same for men. A man won't respect you if you don't respect yourself. Everyone has access to you and you hold yourself to low regard. You have to respect yourself. And that means intimately, sensually too. Like when you go out, you see those women that be like, you ain't nothing, you ain't this, you ain't that. What kind of men do they talk to like that? They talk to a man who probably ain't working, ain't helping out with the bills, cheating 24/7, misusing their trust, don't respect themselves. This is who women disrespect and talk down to like that. Like, you've done nothing to make me respect you. You don't keep your word, you lie, you don't help out around the house, you're cheating. When you don't respect or value yourself, keep your word, because when does a leader is honest, they keep their word, they're respectful, they don't cheat. This is the type of man women submit to and respect. If you have cheated in the past, you might notice, and your wife still stayed with you, you might notice, unless you're beating her up, which, sir, unless that's what you're doing, you might have noticed that the respect for you has gone all the way down. And she talks to you any kind of way and does not submit to you because you have misused her trust. And by misusing her trust, you have disrespected yourself. And if you disrespect yourself by showing yourself as someone who is unworthy to be submitted to, all you will get is disrespect back. That's just it. And if you're a woman and you notice your husband has changed on you too because you cheated, now that sanctity of their home is gone. They feel like, oh my goodness, anyone can have access to her. Anyone can just talk to her. Like, this is not somebody who understands they're married and is exclusive. And wow, they're not going to respect you. They're going to treat you any kind of way. That trust is gone. And that's just what it is. Which gets me to, I did want to talk about the Keke Palmer situation and that, where you saw all that happened after the Usher thing with her man. He probably was disrespectful before, definitely before. But it's a thing where even though she did nothing, it's just psychotic. Y'all saw a lot of men was against it and women were dismissing the men. Women today, we make excuses for a lot. Like, we really do. Let's be real. And this is not like red pill thing. Y'all know I'm not for that. But as neutral as possible, we really do dismiss the feelings of men a lot. We do. And Before y'all call me a pick Misha, let's talk about it. Because we know how we are. We know how we are as women, right? I personally would not be comfortable for my man to be dancing, and call me insecure. That's fine. If I have a man, I would not be comfortable for the world to see my husband dressed a certain way or acting a certain way with another gorgeous woman that is known as an icon, a sensual icon. I would feel so disrespected. But notice I said husband, because that was a thing. Husband. If you're my husband, I would feel so disrespected. I wouldn't be okay with it. So I would completely understand my husband not being okay with me dressed away, with another man being flirty. And even if I'm like, that's my friend, giggles, no. Just like women will tell men, Bae So Live, he made this skit where the girl was basically telling him to cut off a friendship. And he was like, okay, he cut off the friendship. And then when it was his turn to be like, hey, cut off that friendship with your homeboy, don't make me feel good. She's like, oh, even security this.
It's been a minute though, right?
It has, but hold on. Oh. You got the Chelsea's on.
Oh, you peep game? My best friend from middle school. Janiyah. This is my girl, Miriam.
Hey, girl.
This is me, you know what I'm saying?
Can I actually talk to you for a little bit?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's go.
I'll be right back, all right?
Yeah.
What the heck was that? You just dabbing her up like, oh, some cute couple. That was so inappropriate.
That's my friend since
Cut
middle
her
school.
off.
All right, you know what? I got you.
Yeah.
I'll let her know. Look, my girl ain't rocking with you. We can't be friends no more, all right?
What?
That's it.
For real?
Yep.
Miriam.
Virgo.
What's up?
Oh my gosh, it's been too
Come here, girl.
long.
So how you doing?
I've been so good.
You look good too,
Thank
girl.
you, you know.
Anyway, bro, how you been? How everything? How your mama?
How's your mom? She's great. How's yours?
Hey, that's what's up.
What are you doing?
Dang. No, that's you.
Okay.
Alright, you be easy now.
Who the hell was that?
Oh, that was Virgo.
Yo, y'all too friendly. I think he likes you. You gotta cut that off.
Okay, are you insecure or something?
Me?
You were so insecure.
You see the way he was looking at you?
What? So men can't look at me? What the heck?
Wow, you told me to cut off my friend, now you can't cut off your friend?
Of course, because you're being inappropriate. Now you're being insecure. You know what? I don't need this. I don't need this. You're toxic. You're so toxic.
Yeah, it's the same. Like, there's like a double standard. And if you call it out, they call you pick me vibes. You give me pick me because women, like, there's that also funny quote. It's like, I support women's rights and women's wrongs. But we got to do better, okay? We have to do better. And anytime you become too accessible to everyone, the man will lose some respect for you. Like, you're no longer a respectable figure in his eyes. Just like if he disrespects you, he becomes a little garden tool out here with everybody. He's successful, everybody in his face. You start to lose respect for him. You have resentment. You don't trust him. You start to get more combative. Now to submit, there's more contention because you don't respect me, you don't respect yourself, right? Number 4 is know their worth. If someone is being bad to you and you know you deserve better, then leave. You're stuck with your worth, right? Don't be stuck with people, be stuck with your worth. That's the best thing I'll say. I'd rather be stuck with my worth than to be stuck with you. If someone keeps constantly treating you bad, don't give them a third chance, to treat you bad. I do like to say, there's things I don't deserve a second chance. Like if we married, infidelity don't deserve a second chance with me. That's just that. If we're married, I don't know. That's just, the Lord says everybody has their limits and he understands divorce when it comes to infidelity stuff. That's just me. It doesn't deserve a second chance, right? But for some, it may. Say you give a second chance, darling, you better not give a third. There cannot be a third. There cannot be a third. He will never respect you. Have your self-respect. And women respect men that have those clear boundaries. If a woman knows you're going to leave her, behave in any kind of way, like you know your worth, and you'll just move on, you're not going to be stuck, she's not going to try you like that. Some women know who to talk to. I've witnessed the same person in 2 different relationships. And one relationship, she'll get in fights with him publicly. That was her first relationship. And then the second one, she wouldn't even dare raise her voice at her. So respectful. Because he would not accept it. He knew his worth. Same woman. What's the difference? He is worthy of somebody for me to submit to because he won't tolerate anything from me. Vice versa. When ladies, once you elevated yourself, comment below, didn't you see the difference when you didn't know your worth, how people treated you? Now that you know your worth, don't you see the difference? Don't you see that he walks right? But if he thinks he could cheat on you, always going to be there, you're always going to get cheated on. If he think he could hit you the first time and you forgive him, oh yeah, you gonna keep getting beat up. Yeah. You accepted it. You didn't walk away. You didn't know your worth. I don't believe in relationships and just giving chances like that. There's things that don't deserve a second chance. Infidelity is one of those things. Putting your hands on me is one of those things. There's just some things that don't deserve a second chance. I will not let you believe that you got a free pass. No, that's it. It's a wrap. Finito. I'd rather be alone, stuck by myself. That's how you have to be. Because this is the type of people that gets respect. This is how people want to submit to. Next is high standards. Just with what we just said, you have high standards for yourself. High standards, people with high standards know their worth. They're not going to take anything. I know my standards are high. Either you rise up to meet my standards or get out the way so somebody else who can reach my standards can find me. I'm not going to lower my standards for you. Get out the way. Somebody will match my standards. And those are the type of people women submit to also. If you have no standards as a man, what? You're always going to get treated bad. Women are never going to respect you. They're always going to walk all over you. You have no standards for yourself. Why would she respect you? Same for women. You have no standards. If you see my trophy wife video, you're easy pickings. Number 6 is can be happy alone. When you know your worth, you have high standards, you definitely can be happy alone. I'd rather be stuck alone. And this goes with the number 1, having your own money, your own identity. That way, people try you. I could be good alone. I'm alone and I thrive. I'm good. When you can be okay alone, people can't dangle the fear of being alone. Like, people feel like sometimes dangling that you're going to die alone if you don't bend to this will or you don't do that. That's not a fear. What are you talking about? I'm pretty comfortable being alone. Like, I'm not going to be trapped by the fear of being alone. Yep. When a man is okay with being alone, because what do people like to say? When they try you, they disrespect you, and they're never going to find someone like me. You're going to regret. It's like, people can't tell you that when they genuinely know. I'm okay with never finding someone like you. I'm okay with being lonely if it means I have to be with someone like you. Number 7, have morals. I'm not submitting to someone who doesn't have morals, because a person with no morals doesn't know how to respect themselves. Same for women. If the man don't have morals, it goes with the whole respect yourself game. I'm not going to submit to you. And if the woman doesn't have morals, it's going to submit to you. Same as the respect thing. And number 8, last, someone that they aren't embarrassed to bring around in public. I mean, they have to be able to bring it to their mom. Women get embarrassed too. Men think they're the only ones that can be like, oh, I got to be able to bring your mom. A lot of women be embarrassed to bring some of y'all to their dads, to their moms. And because they know, that's why they don't want to be serious. They're not going to want to take it to the next level. These women are embarrassed by y'all. So they don't submit to y'all. They disrespect y'all. And there's a lot that comes in that. It's your reputation. I can't bring someone with such a bad reputation to my family. I've never introduced any man to them, and then the first man I go introduce to them is someone with a bad reputation where everybody's looking at me like, why him? No, I'm not doing that to myself. And then you don't take care of yourself physically. You don't respect yourself. You don't value yourself. You don't have your own identity. You don't groom yourself properly. So, of course, they're embarrassed. They're embarrassed to bring you around. I don't know. Comment below any more of that. Any more that I missed. I know this may have been harsh. Y'all probably can't see it. This is like a light brown. So leave a brown heart in the comments. I'm getting some much needed sun today. It's been gloomy and cold in Florida. I don't know. But comment below your thoughts. Any more that you want to add. And I will see you in the next one tomorrow.